Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at some really compelling insights from Before the Cradle Parenting's Unspoken Truths. Specifically, there's a section called What I Wish I Knew Before Becoming a Parent. You think you're ready for parenthood. You've read the books, maybe scrolled endless parenting TikToks. But as our source today reveals, nothing quite prepares you for the reality of it. So, our mission today is to unpack these unspoken truths, get a realistic, but, ultimately empowering view. Think of it like a heads up, a shortcut to understanding what really counts on this, well, incredible journey. Okay, let's dig in. Let's start with a big one. Something that often catches new parents by surprise, that initial surge of love. You expect that thunderbolt moment, right? The second your baby arrives. But Before the Cradle is really candid. It shares that for some, maybe many, that love grows slowly over time.
Yeah, and what's fascinating and I think really helpful is how the book normalizes this.
Yeah.
It reassures you, look, bonding takes time. It doesn't mean you're failing or there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It just means you're human. And that's such a crucial piece of knowledge, I think. It just dispels this huge unspoken pressure.
Absolutely. That pressure is immense. Okay, and speaking of time, this is where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit intense. Your personal time. It's just
Right.
not really yours anymore, is it? The book describes losing track of days, not even being able to, go to the bathroom alone. Every single moment seems to revolve around this tiny human.
Right. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it highlights this profound shift in your whole life structure. And it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
That detail from the source, craving just 10 minutes of silence, that's so powerful, so relatable. It really underscores the sheer intensity of this transition. It's not just logistical, it's deeply mental and emotional.
Definitely. Which I imagine leads right into the next point. Profound self-doubt. Before parenting, you might have had really strong opinions, on feeding, sleep training, screen time, whatever.
Oh, yeah, we all do.
But the source says after you become a parent, those opinions, they often morph into just this constant barrage of questions. Am I doing this right?
And the book asks, okay, why does this happen? And it offers a really comforting answer, actually. It says that self doubt doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong, it often just means you care deeply. It's a powerful reframing, isn't it? Taking what feels like a weakness and seeing it as a sign of your investment.
That's a great way to put it. And you won't be alone in questioning yourself because advice, it comes from everyone.
Oh, definitely just.
And as the source warns, a lot of it isn't actually helpful. The random person in the grocery store, your great aunt on Facebook.
Yep, unsolicited input everywhere. This is where that critical thinking really has to kick in. And the core message in Before the Cradle is crystal clear. Trust your gut. It literally says you're the expert on your own child.
Mm-hmm.
And that perspective is just vital for navigating that flood of opinions and, frankly, noise.
Trust your gut.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another surprising truth the source unpacks, and this one can feel a bit taboo. You might actually miss who you used to be.
Yeah.
The spontaneous you, the well-rested you, the one with hobbies and, free evenings.
This point is incredibly important because it validates a feeling so many parents have, but feel guilty about admitting. The source is really clear. Missing your old self doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you real,
Yeah.
human. You can fiercely love your child and still grieve parts of your old life. They aren't mutually exclusive.
That's such a relief to hear articulated, I think. But then there's the flip side, and it's pretty beautiful. You become someone stronger.
Yes.
The book talks about this quiet strength that emerges, like, lifting a crying child at 3 a.m., even when you're beyond exhausted. Your heart just expands. It holds more love and, yeah, maybe more worry, too, than you ever thought possible.
What's really interesting there is the transformation. It goes from what feels like loss of sleep, time, self, to this unexpected gain in resilience.
Yeah.
Parenthood often ignites this deep personal growth. You build strength through those daily, often tiny challenges. It's adaptation in action.
Adaptation, exactly. And tied into this strength is a huge realization. You don't need to be perfect.
Oh, thank goodness for that one.
Right. Just present. Your child doesn't need a flawless parent. They need you. The source really emphasizes just showing up, trying, failing sometimes, apologizing, laughing, loving. That's the stuff that matters.
This point really gets to the heart of meaningful connection, doesn't it? It shifts the focus away from some impossible ideal and towards the impact of just being genuine, imperfectly present. It's about building a real relationship, not performing some perfect parent role.
Performing a role, yeah, that's a trap. And speaking of traps, another common one the book flags.
Comparison.
Ugh, the comparison trap. It's so easy to fall into. Totally. The source highlights that every single child is different. What worked for your friend's kid or even your first kid, it might not work for this one. Sleep, talking, walking, temperament, it all unfolds at its own pace.
And this brings up that crucial point about managing expectations, doesn't it? And avoiding so much unnecessary stress. Before the cradle, wishes parents could waste less energy comparing and just trust more in their own child's individual journey. It's about their timeline, not some average.
Trusting the individual journey. I like that. Okay, finally, the source offers this really beautiful insight, kind of ties it all together. The little moments, they matter most. It's
Absolutely.
not necessarily about the big, expensive vacations or the super elaborate birthday parties. It's the giggle during bath time, the quiet snuggle before sleep, those tiny everyday things.
And those simple examples, they're really the core of it all, aren't they? The source emphasizes that these are the moments that build attachment, that build memories. They're the ones that will live in your heart forever. It's like this aha moment that brings your focus right back to the joy in the ordinary, everyday stuff.
The joy in the ordinary. So, wrapping this up, what does all this mean for parents, potential parents, or honestly, anyone navigating a big life shift?
Well, I think these insights from before the cradle, they aren't meant as a list of regrets or warnings, really. It's more like a deeper understanding of growth, of resilience, and what connection truly means. It's about finding that strength and maybe surprising beauty in the unexpected, sometimes messy, imperfect realities.
Strength and beauty in the mess. So, something for all of you listening to mull on. If the deepest joys and our greatest strengths often come from those unscripted, challenging, not so perfect moments, how might you approach your next big life change differently? Knowing that maybe presence and authenticity matter far more than chasing some elusive idea of perfection.